This is the residence of the local surgeon. Isn't that terrifying? Oh, wow. Let's see what we have here for breakfast. Wow. Wow, what a spread. Brisa's still there outside on the street. Absolutely fantastic. I think this is the best breakfast so far. Well, this was a lovely, lovely Airbnb hosted by Ted and Joyce here in Prince George. I arrived last night, and the first thing Ted said to me was, "Are you Michelle?" And the second thing was, "Do you know Itchy Boots? She stayed with us 2 years ago." That was really cool. A grateful bed. We chatted a little about her and her adventures. So it was pretty cool to totally coincidentally stayed at the same place as Norley. I should explain if anyone's watching this and doesn't know who that is. She is undoubtedly the most popular motorcycle vlogger that's ever been. She's a very inspirational young woman who has been riding her bike all over the world for the past 5 or 6 years. She truly is an inspiration to a lot of people, a lot of young women, and even myself. She, at a younger age than I was when I went to Guatemala, has just had incredible adventures, has a very warming personality, and her videos are really a lot of fun to watch. Ted was saying last night as we were sitting outside, they got this kind of crazy email from her once, before she stayed with them. "Hey, I'm planning to stay with you, and I'd like to ship some suspension parts for my motorcycle to your house before I arrive. Would that be okay?" And they're like, "Well, sure, yeah, why not?" So she came and stayed, and I guess one of her videos she had some suspension work done while she was in Prince George, and then continued on up north towards Alaska. So today I am on the road to Barkerville, I think is the name. They reenact the old mining, I think, or the 1800s life. It's about a 2-hour drive from here out of Prince George, and they do it throughout the summer months. They are dressed in period costume and kind of put on a show for people and explain how people used to live back then. So I'm gonna head up there and spend a couple hours, and then have a kind of a short day staying in I think Quesno is how you say it, south of here, before heading down through Whistler and Vancouver. All right, I was driving along and saw the sign for Hickson Falls and Chutes, so I cannot pass up seeing what that leads to. So let's go check it out. Nice little waterfall. Hickson Falls and Chutes. It's like a nice, popular local swimming hole. Water's a little bit murky. All right, so that was Hickson Falls and Chutes. Surprisingly busy, popular for a Monday afternoon. It is summertime after all. The road was a little sketchy to get in. Not too bad till this last section, which heading out, this is quite steep. Of course, I'm sure the camera's not going to make it appear as steep as it actually is. So, not really too bad going up, but coming down with a loaded down bike, it's a little bit hair raising. Oh yeah, no problem at all getting out. But going down, of course, the loose gravel, you don't want to skid out the front tire. You also don't want to go down too fast out of control, so I'm gonna brake with the rear and hope that doesn't lock up. Anyway, continuing on to Bakerville, I believe. All right, we have a bear in the road. Holy cow. Looks like a pretty small one. Little black bear. I'll just wait for you to walk off the road before we go by. All right. All right, let's go for it. Woo! All right, I'm here in Bakerville, and I was afraid I was gonna miss it. I got here pretty late, like 4:30, and I was worried stuff would close at 5, but actually the restaurants are open till 6:30, she said, and the saloon till 9. And there's a water wheel presentation about to start here at the end of the town, so I'm gonna go watch that. No, I'm still walking. This town is actually pretty extensive. Yes, this is the Chinese part. Yeah, somewhere around here is supposed to be the water wheel demonstration. Oh, I think it's over here.
Now, obviously, no wise investor is going to want to part with their hard-earned silver without first perusing the assets at their disposal. So, young Master Williams, why don't we show these good people our most impressive visible asset? Feast your eyes upon the world-famous Cornish water wheel! You're getting it. Very good. Right!
All clear!
All clear! Open the floodgate!
Floodgate, open!
Water is now pouring onto the wheel itself. Water-carrying trays on one side are beginning to fill. One side is becoming heavier than the other, and thus the wheel begins to spin. Ladies and gentlemen, the Cornish water wheel is in motion. Observe the circular motion of the drive wheel, transferring to that up and down motion of the eccentric arm, transferring to the teeter-totter motion of the walking beam, transferring to the final up and down motion of these series of pistons here to power our pump. Master Williams has positioned himself to operate the hoisting engine. Yeah, so, buck it up. Up goes the clutch lever, there's our grip to the play, and here comes the bucket of gold-bearing gravel just as nice.
This is the residence of the local surgeon. And this is his operating table. Isn't that terrifying? finally saw a moose. I had to turn around. But yeah, there she was. Awesome. Well, I'm here at the Ancient Forest. It was recommended to me by Joyce at the Grateful Bed B&B. About an hour and a half to the east of Prince George. It is the only temperate rainforest in the world that's located so far from an ocean. It is about 800 kilometers inland, or about 500 miles. And apparently the conditions were just perfect with the Columbia Mountain Range to the west and the Rocky Mountains to the east to create this type of rainforest. So Joyce was saying it's beautiful to walk here on a sunny day. Unfortunately, that is not the case today. It has been pouring rain ever since I left Prince George, and I'm pretty wet, but anyway, it's still a really nice hike through the woods here. So, and a nice break from the hours of driving through the rain on the motorbike. Wow, this boardwalk they built is quite elaborate. The sign said they built it for wheelchair access, which is a pretty cool thing for them to do. Because even on a rainy day, this is a very, very nice walk through the this old cedar forest. And the trees actually are blocking quite a bit of the rain. The boardwalk is completely dry here, even though it's been raining like all day. All right, we're at the end of the boardwalk. So there's another footpath that goes it's a 2.3 kilometer loop up to Waterfall. But considering how rainy it is today, and because of that, I'm continuing to wear my gear because it's kind of chilly. I don't really want to walk up the muddy trail on that loop. So I'm just going to go back to the bike. But this park, Ancient Forest, is right off the freeway. So if you're ever going between Prince George and Jasper, it's a great spot to stop and stretch your legs a little bit. I was just driving by and saw this bald eagle. Just scared him off. So in this video, I left Prince George and rode down here to, Barkerville. So I was originally going to head back and spend the night in Quesno, but I actually decided to just go back to Prince George and spend a second night with that wonderful Irish B&B, the Grateful Bed. The next day I left Prince George, and right here is the Ancient Forest Park that I stopped at. And then I kept going here all the way to here. I originally was wanting to go to Jasper and then through the park that Canada has there, but right now they're having horrible forest fires, so all of these roads are closed off. So instead I went on through Valemount, spent the night here in Avila, kept going through, that was off the map, sorry, through Kamloops and spent the night in Lillooet. So from here, there should be only one more day till I'm out of Canada. So I really hope you enjoyed this video, and be sure to subscribe to the channel if you'd like to continue following the rest of the trip to Argentina. And nevertheless, I look forward to seeing you in the next video.